Hi, her name is Trixie, and I'm Sarah, and this is Our Yarn World, a place where we come to share the love of yarn crafts and all that it gives us and what we hope it gives you. We're on episode 126 today, and the day that we're filming is actually Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day!
We normally always film about 2 days before we actually upload the videos, so we're kind of in the mix of fun celebration. My brother, her son, did get married on Valentine's Day a couple of years ago. 4 years ago. So we have that happening in the family, which we'll celebrate later in the month when we have our monthly family gatherings.
Yep.
And I stopped at the dollar store to pick up some fun treats for my husband and my kids. My daughter's not been feeling super great, so she's actually home today. And so I just was like, what can we do? Because she was supposed to go on a field trip today to go maybe with her friends and go do something fun, and we've already made a rain check for that for her, but right. It's like, what can I do while realizing that we're limited to being kind of cooped up in the house while also having something fun? So I hope that, even if it's the dollar store, don't feel ashamed to pick up something nice. You're still thinking of somebody, and you're still trying to offer them something.
And it's the thought that counts.
Obviously there is a time and place for when a little bit more of a bigger effort could and should be made for gift giving. But for me, Valentine's Day screams treats. Like, it just does. It's like, if you don't have a chocolate or something on Valentine's Day, who are you? So, yeah. True. So I'm being a little crazy, and I got dinner mints. Those little mints that normally are paired with peanuts at any sort of big gathering somewhere.
Or bridal showers.
I was thinking, I'm not going to say it because it's sad how many times I've downed these and left all the nuts for somebody else. Listen, this is why you just buy them at the dollar store, and as an adult, you don't have to feel shame about being the kid at 7 years old downing all the mints and your mom being like, eat the nuts too. It's like, no, I don't want to. I don't want a peanut. I want the mints.
Right.
So now I get to do that.
And like Grandma, she used to eat her dessert first.
Listen, I remember as a kid, a dentist coming into the school explaining that if you eat your dessert first and then eat your vegetables and your normal meal after, the vegetables and the meat will actually clean your teeth of all of the sugar, and it'll be actually much more productive because it'll balance out some of your sugar spike.
Right.
Than if you were to eat it afterward and then expect yourself not to be hyper. So
happy Valentine's Day to you. That's a good tip.
Go ahead. Start talking.
Okay.
I'm going to enjoy my mint.
So I finished the mandala blanket, and boy is it pretty. So I had 2 mandala cakes. I forget the names of them now, but
from Lion Brand?
Yeah. And I paired them with Aunt Lydia's 0 weight thread. And oh my gosh. So I used a 5mm hook. I did a double crochet, and we have color upon color upon color all the way down to the end. Isn't that gorgeous? And look at how the Aunt Lydia's just highlighted everything, just made it so fun to work. I just really enjoyed it. So it is a lap blanket. I have claimed it for myself.
Good. I'm so proud of you.
So it's going to go on the back of my chair, and when I need a little something over my legs, I've got this beauty. And then the next day, I started a new one. Now, that was Sunday. My husband and I went to Joann's after church.
It's on their way home, really, kitty corner.
Yeah. And
how convenient.
And our friend is the manager there. And
So convenient.
she just happened to be at work that day. We didn't know it. Yeah, it's a convenient all the way through because she's like, "What are you looking for?" And I said, "Ombre yarn. I would really like some ombre yarn." And so she was showing me where it was, but then she showed me something else. She showed me that there is what is called a granny square yarn, and I'm going to go get something to prove what I'm saying. Just a minute.
Prove. It's not provable. It's not real unless we prove it. No, it's really cool. It's a very well measured out, not gradient, variant.
It's not even variegated. It's measured out so that you don't have to
do the color change. It does it for you.
You don't have all those ends to weave in. So it's called Red Heart All-in-One Granny Square Super Saver Yarn. And this is the ad. Now, I got the ad probably on Monday. Yeah, Monday. And I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, holy moly. So we had Sunday going to Joann's, the manager telling us about this, showing me the yarn actually, telling me when it was going to be going on sale, which on the 15th is going on sale, so tomorrow. And and then the next day getting the ad and all the coupons that go in the ad and knowing that this is going on sale. And so we may have to get some of this and try it out just so that you know that it works.
Well, here's my question.
And this is what we were both thinking too.
Well, no, I have a different question than the one that you posed.
All right. I have a question and she has a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, my question is, does it work if your gauge is a little off? Hers is tighter than mine. So we may both have to get a skein of this and see if it works for her or if it works for me.
Yeah, how do they measure it out per se based off of the gauge of tightness?
Yeah. So that was my question.
My question is it only based on a repeated row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Like, does it only go up to the size 5 granny square?
I'm not sure.
Increase, and then you stop it?
It must stop when it gets to the white.
Right. Does it repeat with the same measurements every single time so that you're supposed to stop? You can't just keep going into this one continuous big granny square blanket. It's only up to the 5th.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so. It's only going to be a granny square. It's not going to be a granny rectangle or anything.
Right. This granny square only goes from 5 layers out.
Right.
So middle, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row being the white. My question is, do you snip it and then you start over?
I think so.
With it being perfectly measured out from that middle again all the way out continuously, so you continuously are just making these size grannies?
I believe that's how it's supposed to work.
That's my question, if it's measured out in those means. And again, that would also differ as to how much is going to be left over. Will it overlap? Will it not be perfectly timed and spaced because of gauge problems? There is a lot to think about with that.
It's kind of fun to think about, though.
So I think whenever we're able to get the money, you and I will have to go test it out and give a review.
Yeah.
You know, not that we're like the most, our opinion is solid, for anything other than us. But it doesn't take away the fact that, these are questions that I feel that the crafters are going to want to know. They can be tested out. They can be discussed. And, hopefully it makes for a better project, because if Red Heart, which is what I think this is from, is trying to be this innovative, because it really reminds me of like a jelly roll from like those jelly rolls that you can get of perfectly measured out fabrics that are always coordinated to each other in some way, so that you can make like pinwheels, or you can make those sort of jelly roll quilting, crafting stuff. I feel like this is kind of like the equivalent of that in yarn.
Yeah.
It's not just variegates or ombres that work together nice. It is essentially a color changed variegate that is built in mind for the idea of someone who wants to create this sort of a pattern. Same with jelly rolls. So I find that interesting because I could imagine, because my mom used to be a big quilter, and I remember the whole idea of a quilting bee where it's not the current projects that you're working on, but everyone's paired with a jelly roll and then like 3 hours and all their machines, and what are they each going to make by the time it's all done. I feel like this is that same equivalent of what ones are you going to make, how are you going to piece them together, because a granny square can be made into a granny rectangle, a granny circle, a granny this, a granny that, and it can make into 3D shapes. At least that's how I would end up doing it. You can make them into bags, clothes, the granny square jackets. I think that there's range to see what the yarn crafter's equivalent would be to what the quilting bee kind of challenges are on the same principle that this reminds me of.
Right. So on Sunday, I ended up going and looking for the ombres. The friend that was working there showed me where it was, and I was able to pick up, and I'm trying to unwind it here. I found a ombre. Now this is Red Heart Super Saver, and it is ombre yarn, and it is called Jazzy. So we've got all the pinks. Then I have the same, but it's called Deep Teal. And it's got all the different teals in it. And so I wanted to make a granny stripe in all these, these two colors. Started with the pink. Pink and teal are my favorite colors, so this is where I'm at right now. Just a couple rows in, and it's, it's changing, but it's just so vibrant and pretty. And when I get to the second color, it's going to be even more vibrant and pretty. I mean, it's just color change is so fun. And I am using a 5mm hook, a granny stripe, and just flowing and having fun with it. And all the different colors that are in this, all the different shades of colors, I should say, not all the different colors. All the different shades are just working so well together. And it's so fun to have the project and the right yarn to go with it.
Yes, when it just is seamless.
Yeah. And like on the label itself, it shows a woman with a, what are those called?
A shawl.
A shawl. I was thinking scarf, and I knew that wasn't the right word.
No, you're good.
So, just how the gradients of the colors go.
Yeah.
And so it shows you how it works out. And so we found those two. While my husband and I were in the store, he looks down one of the rows and says, "Look, my sister's here." And we never see his sister at the store. And she was looking for yarn for a baby blanket for one of her boyfriend's son's wives, who's going to have a little baby boy pretty soon. So that when they go to visit after he's born, she wants a baby blanket to go. So she was looking for the perfect blue to do this pattern in it. And we got talking about Sarah, and she's asking what Sarah's doing nowadays, and I said she's making toys. And she's just like, Grandma always was so shocked and pleased how fast she learned crochet and how much she does with it. And she said it just was, she was always just amazed at how much she could do. And I said, well, you ought to see the toys she's doing now. And my husband was saying the same thing. Why, you got to see these toys. She's just doing it. And so she's sitting there talking to us, and she says, maybe she should do the craft shows. Maybe she should make a bunch of stuff up for that. And I'm like, it's kind of hard when you got littles in the house to make anything that isn't going to go right to them.
Thank you.
And so unless it's going up on a high shelf, it's going to be their toy as soon as they see it. So, there's a time and there's a season for everything under this earth. And we are in the time and season where she still has littles. When it gets to, when they're a little bit older, they're, and maybe she will make stuff for the spring season and go into having the craft shows be one of her things. But, and we've talked about it. But right now, all the things that she makes are usually for her kids or somebody else that she knows. So yeah, we're just dealing with littles right now. So what do you think about craft shows and how that all works?
Well, in regards to that conversation, one of my biggest hindrances in it has more to do with I've never been very good at making things in bulk.
Yeah.
It's not my...
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why I get so astounded by your ability to make blankets nonstop. And I realize that your technique always adapts it to how you're feeling in the moment to do the craft. Therefore, you're never overexhausting yourself, but you're always still making essentially the same outcome, even if it's different.
I think it's because I get to change colors every time.
And that's fine. I mean, sometimes you do the granny, sometimes you do the double crochet, sometimes you do the single crochet, sometimes you try new patterns, sometimes you try blocks, sometimes you try this. It's not like you don't do that sort of thing. You do, shake it up a little bit and make it more something new and fresh for the season in which you want to make your craft. But your staple craft, your staple comfort craft is still essentially the end result is a wearable that is a blanket or a quilt. You've always done that. Those have always been the things that you like to make and gift to people.
That's just home to me.
Exactly. And so I think that that's why you were such a good quilter, still are, a good crafter in this regard. It's mobile, it works, it's cozy, it feels like a very personal yet not too personal gift to give people. It works for weddings, it works for baby showers, it works for anything under the sun, and it's one of those versatile things that most people enjoy to have. And so I love it.
Practical.
And it's very practical, exactly. And it's personable. That
personalized to that person.
There you go. I wanted to make it all one word. Look at me. I can do things. But here's the thing. I love that, but I don't necessarily have that drive.
Right.
I've never had that drive, and I know that about myself. Now, is there a way that I could possibly just push through and do it? Yes, but it almost would have to be like, I'm planning for winter season stuff. So I have to do that right now in February. Why? Because by the time that happens, I'm going to have gone in 15 different rabbit trails along the way of making maybe 3 Christmas pillows, a couple of ornaments, whatever it is over here. I don't know what that was. I don't remember. All those different things that happen in my brain because all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, Pinterest just reminded me of something. Or, oh, I have a whip I should get done. Or, ooh, idea. I am so sporadic that I would almost have to always make things when the mood hit me, have totes for those moods in which they would best sell.
Yeah.
and hope to all get out that by the time that season hits, I have enough in that basket by the time I get there.
Making things over and over again. I make blankets, but as she's saying, if she had to make the same thing over and over and over and over and over, I couldn't do that either. It would bore me to tears.
It would take the joy out of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I see crafters, people who literally do product for craft shows. They put on an audiobook and they will do the same craft, whether it's about a 15 to 20 to half hour craft, and they will do it for straight hours.
Oh.
And they will make bulk of it by just binging a TV show. They have their times where they put it down, they stretch out their hands, they walk away, bathroom break, take a moment to dance to some music, something to get the blood flowing, not be sitting in that chair all day, exercise, whatever it is, take a shower, then they come back and they do the same thing for another set of group of hours. Now, don't get me wrong, that is essentially the art craft that is yarn. There's very few people that really show and have perfected the art of doing the craft while moving. And there are people that do have it. There are very specific bags, units, and a wearable equipment to be able to do crafts on the go. Mm-hmm. But it's not something that I've even managed to do despite how long I've been doing this craft. Yeah. Now, if I attempted that, it would have to be within a reasonable thing. Like I'm taking the kids for a walk, so me doing it would be associated with that pastime. Mm-hmm. I don't think I could just bring it everywhere. There's some people that bring it to the movie theater, to the restaurant, to church, to the library, to the bookstore.
But they can do it without looking. And
yes,
I can't
and they're just doing this while they're doing this. Again, that is not me jamming on them. That's me recognizing their harmony with what they are already good at doing, which is multitasking, and finding the time to parallel with other things in their lives and still accomplish their goals while doing a mainstream life at the same time. The basics of going to the grocery store, getting things done, getting this stuff while still getting what I'm trying to do done, and it not bothering me and it not affect me and it not I don't care about the stairs. This is who I am. I have no, and not that it's anything to be shamed about, but I have no hindrance in me being able to pursue and do as I am doing in my day-to-day life.
Right.
I've always associated this with, I have it with me, I sit down, I bring it with me to very specific places, or it's in my house. I have people that I know I can trust to do it around. I do sometimes bring it around new people if I want to attempt it, but otherwise it's just in my bag. Sometimes I'll pull it out. And if I do, it's because I need something to break the ice, or I need something to do so that I'm not here feeling awkward.
Well,
and it's just...
You're sitting... for me, it's a sit-down project.
Yes.
It's sitting there with my my husband watching TV, and I've got to have my hands moving. Well, that's me. I can't be moving around doing it. I'm not good at playing guitar because you've got two different hands doing two different things and
while
and all
possibly
that
walking
or singing or whatever. For me, it's a sit down project and my quiet time, and it's something that I enjoy.
And the only reason why I'm saying this, because here's the thing, I think I could do it. If I put myself to the test, I could do it. But I would have to do it not in the way that most people would do it. If I were to do something like making bulk of something to be able to take it to somewhere for whatever XY reason, whether it be a craft show or a bulk for a donation for some kids or something, a bulk in something for volume of the same thing or of the same things in a certain theme, like ornaments or something. That kind of variegated, but you kind of want to have enough of the one in case multiple people want the same kind of pattern. All those different things. Here's where I'm at. Even if it was like I want to make the same thing for all of my nieces and nephews, so it's similar,
right?
Whatever across the board. This is the thing. I would have to give myself time and space it out. I could not just sit and do it in one go.
No.
I would have to do like, oh, I can do a couple right now. I'm in the mood. I can do that right now. Oh, now I want to do this project. I look at the, it would be like I'd have to make a list of it. And then I could go back and as I want to cross off where I want or what I'm in the mood to accomplish in this moment. Because I could do like 3 ornaments. Then I'm going to want to do a pillow. Then I'm going to want to do this. Then I'm going to want to do a hat and a scarf. And then I will go back to the ornaments. I'm not going to just knock out all 12 ornaments at one time. I'm going to space it out and give myself variety so that I'm not bored.
Exactly.
So it would really have to be coordinated. It would really have to be a joint effort. It would really have to be well thought out because by the time I do a craft, my brain's dead. I'm doing it because my brain has no thought. Which is crazy because you would think that with some of the detailed things that I do, I would have to have a lot of thought. No, this is my thing to literally not be able to think. I do it. I've said this before. Crafting is almost like a meditation. It's a repetitive motion that allows me to just be in like a very specific state of being and mind. I don't really have to think a lot about it. And it's not that a project can't be intricate, because it can be, and that's fine. But it's also a designated time for me to not have to think about anything else.
Right.
And that's the point. I can put a TV show on. I could listen to an audiobook, music. I could be in such a high detailed project that it's literally the only thing I can do.
Right.
Which means nothing else matters in that moment. I can just do this and let my brain shut off. And I love that.
Right.
So
what are you working on?
I am working on, for context, it's been about 2 weeks since we've seen you guys, and I apologize for that. I was the reason why we didn't do last week, and I can't remember my reason.
You didn't feel well.
What she said. I don't remember. Last week was last week. We don't need to think about last week. Yeah, that works. Anyway, the week preceding the last time I saw you guys, I just got done with a whole bunch of a binge on getting Canyon's presents done, and have been trying to figure out how I'm going to knock out a list of all my whips for this year. Amazingly enough, I ended up getting a bruise right here in my palm, visibly raised up on my skin. Black bruise on my meat of my palm. I've never had something on my palm. It's always been on top, knuckles, whatever, the random hit. It was right here. I've never had that,
and it hurts a lot when you get that there.
It was kind of one of those things where it's like I found myself not realizing it was there. So like I have a regimen of how I rub my hands to relax them, because I stress them out with sometimes how. The cramps hit with my crocheting and all these things, and I went to do that, and that's how I found out I had it.
Oh wow.
Because I'm mindlessly doing my hand rub, and I hit that, and I went full force on the bruise, not realizing it was there, and I was like, and I look, and it's black. My hand is black, and I'm like, when did that happen? I don't know. But it was one of those moments where I took a step back, and I was like, I'll take a break. My body normally tells me when I need to take breaks. I took this as a sign to take a break. And I've been working on other things. I've been doing some of my other favorite hobbies, like reading and just writing and chilling and just trying to find other ways of being able to be imaginative. I've been scrapbooking. I've been doing other things to give myself a bit of a... Because there's more than one thing that you can do to have the things. I could say sigh moments or break moments or breathing moments, but I'm just going to keep doing that because I don't know why I'm being so annoying today. I'm sorry. I'm just hyper. But I took the opportunity to give myself a break on this. So what I'm doing right now has nothing to do with what I've showed you from 2 weeks ago. I literally saw a project on Pinterest which was little spiral dragons. And it's Valentine's Day. Like I said, I stopped at the dollar store and I got my kids some suckers and some candy. And now I'm making them little spiral dragons. Because they need them. Because it's Valentine's Day, and who doesn't want a Valentine's dragon? I don't want to live in a world where there's no Valentine's dragons. So,
So true.
So, I've already made one spiral. And I'm working on the other one. This one's kind of like a coral color, and this one's more or less a red. So my son's gonna get the red, my daughter's gonna get the coral, and I'm just looking at the pattern and I'm making it up as I go. It kind of just looks like a giraffe head sewn on with random butterfly wings put on the back and some feet and a spike on the tail. So I can just look at that and I'm not looking at a pattern. It's a spiral and a head and wings and the deuce. And my children will love them and probably throw them, and then they're going to be in the laundry pile, and I will find them in 2 months, and I'll wonder what I did with my life today. But listen, I didn't want to go to the store and buy the $1.25 little bears that they're not going to play with. I would rather make something where they play with it for at least a little bit longer than that, and I did something, and I feel good about myself.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No.
Or do you have...
I think it's going right along.
I forgot about what we chose.
So, we have a verse for you today. And it is...
Oh, dear Lord.
Let me hear joy and gladness. And that's found in Psalms 51, verse 8. Let me hear joy and gladness. Didn't we just hear that from Sarah? Yes, we did. So... we are here to say, on Valentine's Day, let me hear joy and gladness from you guys.
Listen, I realize I'm not annoying. I realize I'm just hyper and I'm just really, really bouncy right now. I just don't know fully why. And so I just kind of feel bad because this is not normally the amount of energy I bring into a video. So, here we are, crocheting in a spiral to make dragons for Valentine's Day. Because we don't need Cupid, we need dragons. Because Pinterest told me to do it.
There you go.
So there we go. Have fun with that. I will have my mom have this link. Hopefully this might actually be a real pattern. I'm just going off of the photo. So whatever that is, I hope you enjoy it. Yeah. And yes.
So we just want to say... if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like it, subscribe, tell your friends. Mm-hmm. It's all free. So just, you know how to do all that. So we're just asking that you would, and give us a comment. Tell us what you're working on. Are there any colors that you're enjoying right now? Are you having fun with your yarn? Are you making... all the colors? Look at that. Look at that. So,
are you stealing from your mother's stash to make your the kids dragons? There's that too. I am being summoned apparently because both my kids are asking for me at the same time.
So, let's end this video.
I appreciate every single one of you who have made it this far, as the reality is my children have been discussing and trying to pulling us away from from filming throughout this whole entire thing. But I thank you, as right now we are really doing the one thing that we constantly talk about, which is why we do crochet. Is centering ourselves despite all the distractions and still having fun doing so, being able to find a way of relax and still being productive at the same time and not having to feel bad about it. So if that's you, depending on what you're doing on Valentine's Day or not, if you are alone or not, give some time to get to know yourself. And not every Valentine's Day you might have someone to spend it with, but you always have yourself to spend it with, and that should be a joy for you to be able to still love and be able to appreciate yourself and celebrate yourself in some way. So whether that's making yourself a little spiral dragon, or getting a little bit of candy, or finding some good book or movie to put on, or maybe picking up the one thing you haven't known whether you could do yet, which was going down to your local craft store and picking out some things and seeing how you can do it. Yeah. Enjoy yourself, get some music on, dance, have fun, and just enjoy yourself. And let me hear joy and gladness.
Yes.
So we hope that you have a good rest of your day, and that if you've made it to the end, we have been a good part of your day. We will see you next week, and as always, we hope that you stitch your way
to mental health.